Good morning, Otters. I hope you're all well. It's Friday. Really looking forward to seeing all of your English work and your learning logs. It's great to see what you've been up to. So, Felix and Zelda had been taken in by the lady with the dog. I say taken in, she had put them in with the pig, fed the pig some food and water, which the pig had very kindly shared with Felix and Zelda, and we just left it with the Nazis arriving. Ooh, something in my eye, sorry. As soon as we hear the truck coming towards the farm, me and Zelda scramble back under the straw and make sure we're completely covered, except for a tiny peephole so I can pick the right moment for us to run. The barn door bangs open. I squint out through the straw. The woman comes in. She's wearing a dress now, and makeup, and she's brushed her hair. She takes a handful of something from her dress pocket and flings it around the barn. What is she doing? Outside the barn, men are yelling at each other in Nazi and slamming the truck doors. Suddenly my nose tingles painfully and I know what the woman is scattering. Pepper. The woman wants me and Zelda to start sneezing so much we can't run. So we'll be helpless and the Nazi soldiers can grab us and she'll get her reward. She's not a kind farmer. She's a horrible one. So, me and Zelda aren't going to sneeze. I press my fingers against my top lip and I press my other fingers against Zelda's. I can do it myself, Zelda whispers indignantly, pushing my fingers away. My hand brushes against something small and hard lying in the straw. I grab it. I can feel a chain and a hinge. Zelda's locket. She must have had it in her pocket all the time. It must have fallen out when she was diving in and out of the straw. I keep my eye at the peephole. A Nazi soldier comes into the barn. He's got a rifle with a bayonet. A second soldier comes in with a dog. Not a floppy dog with sad eyes and comfy armchair fur. A vicious killer. Nazi dog that's straining at its lead, desperate to bite people. If it sniffs me out and me and Zelda out, we're finished. The Nazi dog coughs. The woman glances towards me and Zelda. Oh no. I think she knows exactly where we are. She must have spotted our hiding place when she brought the food in. It's too late to run. I squeeze the locket tight in my hand. When the woman drags us out of the straw and hands us over, I'm going to give the locket to the soldiers. When they see the photo of Zelda's father in Nazi uniform, they'll have to show Zelda mercy. Sometimes you have to break a promise if it's the only way to save your family. That's weird. The woman isn't dragging us out and handing us over. She's standing very close to the soldiers, who are sniffing the air and frowning. Do you like it? Says the woman. My perfume? She gives them a cheeky grin, like Mum used to give Dad when she was up the ladder in the shop getting a book from the top shelf, and Dad used to kiss her on the ankle. The Nazi soldiers glance at each other. The woman holds her wrist under their noses. They both sniff it. She gives them another cheeky grin. They both grin back. I don't get it. If she wants to be romantic with Nazis, why doesn't she hand me and Zelda over first? That'll make them like her even more. The Nazi dog sneezes. Suddenly, I have an amazing thought. What if the pepper isn't for us? What if it's for the dog? What if the woman is doing some good protecting? Hope you find those two Jew kids, says the woman to the soldiers, so you can finish the job. I reckon the little vermin are hiding in the forest somewhere. You'll know them when you see them. They look like that. Chuckling, she points to the pig, who's in the corner, trembling, as far away from the Nazi dog as it can get. The soldiers frown scared. The soldiers frown again. Is it because they don't like seeing an animal scared? Probably not. It's probably because they don't speak much Polish. Oh no. The soldier with the rifle is coming over to where we're hidden. The woman looks like she wants to stop him, but she doesn't. The soldier stabs his bayonet into the pile of straw next to ours. Should I jump out and show him the locket? Too late. Now he's raising his bayonet over our pile. I want to put my arm around Zelda, but I daren't move. I pray she won't make a noise. I pray I won't either, not even if the bayonet slices into me. Help us, Rick Mulcrompton, please. The bayonet blade hisses into the straw just by my head, and again just near my chest. Can't see where it goes after that, but Zelda isn't making a sound. The soldier stops stabbing. He gives the woman a shrug and a grin. The woman stops biting her lip and gives a half grin back. But when the soldiers both turn away, she glances over towards me and Zelda again. She looks very worried, like she really doesn't want us to be stabbed. Yes, my insides do a dance, except I'm feeling worried too. Zelda still isn't making a sound. The Nazi soldiers go out of the barn. The woman follows them. Just before she steps out the door, she forces a smile back onto her anxious face. Felix, whispers Zelda in my ear. Are you stabbed? I've never been so happy to hear the voice. No, I say. I'm not stabbed too, says Zelda. I put my arms around her and say a silent thank you to Rickmore Crompton. The Nazi soldiers are driving away. The woman is shouting friendly things after them, but I can tell she's only pretending. Zelda's heart is going as fast as mine. I'm not surprised. It's pretty exciting when you get a new parent. Then, me and Zelda crawled out of the straw, and the woman checked us over for stab wounds and was very relieved we didn't have any, and took us into her house and gave us hot food, including cabbage leaves and a whole turnip and a bath. She also told us her name, which is Genia, and the dog's name, which is Leopold. Zelda is first for the bath, but she doesn't want to get in. Come on, Zelda, says Genia. This water won't stay hot forever, and I'm not heating any more. Zelda is staring at the kitchen floor, sticking out her bottom lip. You slapped me, she says. At first I can see Genia isn't sure what Zelda is talking about. In the forest, says Zelda. Now Genia remembers. She crouches down in front of Zelda. You bit me, says Genia, so let's make a deal. If you don't bite me, I won't slap you. Zelda thinks about this. She nods and gets into the bath. The deal works. Zelda doesn't bite Genia, and Genia is very gentle with Zelda's cut feet. Now it's my turn. My face is burning. Not from the water, because I'm standing up, and it doesn't even reach my knees. My face is hot because Genia is staring at my private part like it's the most annoying thing she's ever seen. I look away and pretend not to notice. I was right about this house. It's got 2 rooms. There's the kitchen we're in now and a completely separate bedroom. The house is made in a clever way. The wood stove is in the middle wall, so it heats both rooms. If you hate Jewish people so much, I say, why didn't you hand me over to the Nazis? And me, says Zelda. I wait anxiously for Genia's answer. It's a risky question to ask a person who is going to look after you and protect you and give you more turnips. Genia chews her lip and rubs her head like some people do when a question is difficult. Seisman Glick used to do it all in class all the time. You're right, says Genia. I don't like Jews. I never have. It's how I was brought up. My insides sink. Zelda is glaring. I can see she's trying to think of an insult to say back at Genia. But, says Genia, there are people I dislike much more than Jews. Nazis, I say. Oh yes, says Genia. I hate Nazis a lot. I remind myself to make sure that Genia never sees Zelda's locket, which I've hidden in my boot. But most of all, continues Genia, I hate anyone who hurts children. Now, with her eyes fierce, she looks even more like Mum, even with her short hair that's sticking up from when she was rubbing it. When I heard a rumour that the Nazis had killed the Jewish orphans, said Genia, I prayed it wasn't true. That's why I was in the forest seeing for myself. She screws up her face at the memory and smacks the bathwater, splashing me and Zelda. Leopold gives a yelp and jumps back. Those kids have lived in this district all their lives, says Genia. What sort of monsters would do that to them? I'm not sure if she wants an answer, so I stand quietly while she drives me and Zelda again. Genia stops frowning and looks at us both. How did you manage it? She asks. How did you escape from the shooting? I can see she does want an answer to this, but I'm not sure what to say. She thinks we're local orphans and we're not. If I tell her the truth, will she still want to look after us? We didn't escape from the shooting. We escaped from the train, Zelda says to her. Don't you know anything? Genia stares at us in surprise. I wait for her to ask us to leave. She doesn't. A train for the city, I say quietly. on its way to a death camp. Genia puts her hand on my face, just for a moment, and I can tell from her expression that it's going to be all right. Zelda is frowning. If you're going to be our new mummy, she says to Genia, you have to like Jewish people. Genia nods slowly, puffing out her cheeks as if it's a very difficult thing to think about. I don't know why. Felix can't help it, says Zelda. I've skipped a whole bit, sorry. Very difficult thing to think about. Genia gives a long sigh. Come on, kneel down so I can do your hair. We both kneel down with our heads over the metal bathtub. Keep your eyes closed, says Genia. She wets our hair and rubs something onto it that smells horrible and hurts. Ow, says Zelda. That shampoo stings. It's not shampoo, says Genia. It's bleach. I don't know what bleach is, but when I finally open my eyes, I see what it does. Zelda's hair isn't black anymore. It's yellow. And Zelda is staring at me with an amazed expression, so my hair must have turned yellow too. I know why Genia has done this. It's so we blend in with the straw, isn't it? I say to her, for when we hide in the barn. Genia smiles. Good thought, Felix, she says, but you won't be hiding in the barn anymore. I stare at her. I don't like the sound of this. Has she decided it's too risky to have us that close to the house? Where will we be hiding? I ask anxiously. In a haystack? Out in the open, says Genia. I stare at her even harder. How can we hide out in the open? Are you good at stories, Felix? Says Genia. Yes, he is, says Zelda. He's very good, especially funny ones and sad ones. Excellent, says Genia. Because from now on, you both have to tell people a story about yourselves. How you're two Catholic children. How your parents were killed. How you've come to stay with your auntie, who from now on is me. I try to take this in. Zelda is thinking about it too. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Wouldn't the barn be safer, I say? Suddenly, the barn doesn't seem so bad. We could play with the pig and the chickens. I try not to think about Nazi bayonets. Only Jews hide in barns, says Genia, and from now on, you're not Jews. For a moment, I think Zelda is going to argue, but she doesn't. I don't argue either, but I'm still not sure. Which would you prefer, says Genia, being stuck in a barn the whole time, or being able to run around and play outdoors and sleep in a bed? A bed, I say. A bed, says Zelda. It's a good point. We haven't slept in a real bed for ages. I'm starting to see that hiding in the open would be better. When I was younger, I tell Genia, my parents hid me in a Catholic orphanage. Good girl, good boy, says Genia. Now we have to find new names for you. Zelda's eyes lit up. William and Violet Elizabeth, she says. Genia thinks about this. They're names from our favourite stories, I explain. Our favourite story writer, Rick McCrompton, is English. When her stories are changed into Polish, the names stay English. English names aren't a good idea, says Genia. The Nazis are at war with England. We like those names, says Zelda fiercely. Genia rolls her eyes. All right, she says, but we have to make them Polish. Wilhelm and Violetta. Zelda grins. I'm happy too. Now it's almost like Rick McCrompton will be helping Genia look after us. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. Still quite a lot of the book left. Sounds to me like this is all a bit too good to be true, the lady taking in Zelda and Felix. But we will find out again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember to stay safe, keep washing your hands, stay at home, and I will check in with you again on Monday. See you later.